Editor's Desk is your number one place to motivate yourself, express yourself, and amplify your impact. Our amazing hosts and guests share their stories to help you get where you want to be and where you need to be. And now, on to the show.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Editor's Desk. I'm your host, Brenda Warren. We are sponsored today by Parenting 2.0, the Focused Mindset podcast, and I'm excited to be here. You may be asking yourself, how did this cute little chocolate girl get behind this desk? Well, I'd like to tell you. I joined the Marine Corps, did 20 years of active duty. I then became, after retiring that is, I went on to work at a hospital in Goldsboro, North Carolina, where I was a director running 4 departments. It was an exciting time for me. I have 2 big-head brothers, Junior and Bruce, that I absolutely adore. I have a 19-year-old son named Alex, who is absolutely fabulous. 3 guinea pigs, S'mores, Misty, and River. A group of fabulous friends. And I'm the grand prize winner of the Be on TV Challenge, sponsored by Super Connector Media. That's how I landed behind this desk. And with all that fabulousness, I still found myself at a very low place. Back on July 26th, I called the crisis hotline. The pandemic and the PTSD symptoms put me over the edge. I was ready to check out, y'all. It's the truth. Mental health is no joke, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Luckily for me, the guy on the other end had a wonderful suggestion. He said, take your medication and get some sleep, and then the next day find something to do. And that's exactly what I did. So while I needed something to do, I signed up for 2 courses. I signed up for Queenology, which I was already living, but I thought, hey, I can expand my queendom. And I signed up for the Be on TV Challenge. That challenge would start that same day on July 27th that I signed up at 2 p.m. By 4 p.m., I was making a video telling everybody about my most empowering moments. Well, I lived a pretty amazing life, but I had forgotten that in my struggle. That one video changed the course of my life. Because from that video, as I went through the challenge, people, total strangers, began to email me, DM message me, find me, seek me out, and find out what it is I do, and started to tell me their most personal stories. They asked me, why would you want to give up? I had to ask myself the same question because, you see, I am Brenda Warren, and I am the solutionist. I help the voiceless find their voice. I empower people to show up, power up, and live well-balanced lives because I believe that life is entirely too short to live in the negative. Although at that time, I was truly living in the negative. But now, here I am, ready for my glow up as I sit behind the editor's desk. Today, I have an amazing guest to share with you guys. And I hope you'll come and join the conversation. There's a number you can call in. I'm sure they'll show you what it is. And get to know Dan, my guest. My guest is going to be the amazing Zen teacher himself, Mr. Dan Chicarico. Dan, you with me?
I'm with you, Brenda.
I'm so excited to have you here. Dan,
I am thrilled and honored to be here.
Thank you. I'm thrilled and honored to have you. Can you tell me how you became the Zen teacher?
Sure. I've been a high school English teacher for 30 years, and I've loved every minute of it. But about 6 years ago or so, things started getting pretty stressful in the education profession, and I started heading toward burnout. And I was looking around, and I was seeing all of these other teachers melting down, crashing and burning, and leaving the profession. Ooh. And I said, I can't do that. I had to make it to retirement. I had about 10 years to go, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And so I thought, well, I really need to kind of chill out. I need to relax. I need to find some way to cope with the stress and the anxiety. And one day I remember I was walking along. I was on a walk, And it was almost an out of body experience. And I said, wow, with all the stress and tension and anxiety, it's almost like you have to be a Zen teacher. And that was a light bulb moment.
That's good.
And I went home and I started writing about it, and I started blogging under my website, The Zen Teacher. And then that became a book called The Zen Teacher, Creating Focus, Simplicity, and Tranquility in the Classroom. And an amazing thing happened, Brenda. I started going all around the country doing workshops and sharing this approach of the strategies and the tools that I used to make it through and to cope with other teachers. And the really crazy thing is it's important for teachers to lower their stress and improve their self-care. But when this pandemic came down and we went into quarantine, and I just went back to school and we're all online, and the stress is just higher than ever. So I think this message, which is bigger than I am, is just so important to share with teachers, because that's who I work with. But the interesting thing, and the reason that I'm just thrilled to be on your show, is because even though I work with teachers, these concepts work with everybody. And so I hope that the people watching will be able to take the strategies and go deal with some of the stress that they might be dealing with today, and navigate it just a little bit better after listening to some of the things we talk about today.
I think that as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking if I had some of the techniques that you teach teachers, I might not have found myself in such a low place over the past few weeks. How can what you teach to teachers, with all of the stuff with us going back to the school environment, how can that help individuals?
Well, like you're mentioning, when we're all going back this year, and this is a very timely message because everybody's going back to school, and it's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's the craziest school year I've seen in 30 years. And I wanted to bring three very specific approaches to the show today to tell your audience what they can be working on. First of all, while it's important to work within the system and to help change the system and make the system better, I didn't have the energy for that when I was really in that bad place. And I said, all I can change is myself. So one thing to keep in mind is to only work within your own circle of influence. What do you have control over? You can't control what the school board's doing. You can't control what your boss is doing at your job. You can't control what the company's policies are. But what you can control is your response to all of those things. So work within your own circle of influence. The other thing is the idea of mindfulness. Mindfulness means be here right now. A lot of times what happens is that stress comes from worrying about things that happened in the past, like that silly thing you said to your neighbor that you're like, oh, that was the dumbest thing I've ever said, or that thing that's going to happen in the future, like I'm going to go and have that meeting with my boss and I'm really anxious. But you can't live in the past and you can't live in the future. Right. This is the only moment we have, right? So we just need to find ways to be here. So mindfulness is so important about being in the moment. And we don't have time for me to teach you how to, mindfulness works. But if you look it up and you do some research, you'll find that those approaches with mindfulness will ground you right in the current moment, which is the only moment we're living. And finally, I want to talk about the importance of self-care. Now, a lot of times self-care these days, we think bubble baths or manicures, and that's just me. But that's not all there is to self-care, right? That's not all. Self-care is really important because he's struggling. I know that my department is struggling. I know I work with a good friend of mine, AJ, and this has been very hard on him. And for being such a great person, it's a tough person to see this be so hard on. So I just want everybody to know that these strategies of self-care are available to them to help them relax. And instead of it can be, baths, and it can be manicures and all of that, but also really hard self-care things like setting boundaries and saying no. Mm-hmm. When you're at your limits, it's okay to say, no, I can't do that right now. And these are sometimes some of the things that people forget and they don't practice. And so I think things like that, again, just as a review, work within your circle of influence. And only respond to the things that you can control, right? And then work on mindfulness, where you're being just in the moment and not worrying about the past and not worrying about the future. And then work on that self-care piece where you're taking care of you, because you know what? Here's the thing. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody's going to walk up to you. And, they're not going to come up to me and go, you know what, Deanna, you look tired. You should take a nap, right? They're not going to say that. I have to decide for myself. No.
Mm-hmm.
We have to decide for ourselves, Brenda. We have to say we're worth it. We're valuable enough as people to take care of ourselves and not run ourselves all the way to the end of our limits and just empty our tank completely. There's an old saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. And I know some people are so giving that not only will they pour until their cup is empty, if a spouse or a child or a student needs it, they'll give away the cup too. And you can't do that. My
Dan,
job is to get your cup back.
I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
that with a lot. This is my pen mic. I've been taking notes. I would say I
Oh,
noticed
good.
that, and with mothers now, with this having to navigate with the back to school and having to take the position of not just being mom but being teacher. How do
Mm-hmm.
you help them with this?
Oh my gosh, Brenda, that is such a good question. And it's so critical right now because with everybody being home, I've been telling all the teachers that it's very hard to figure out when am I at home and when am I at work. For example, I'm sitting here at my kitchen table. This is where I had dinner with
Mm-hmm.
my family last night, but it's also where I'm doing the interview with you now. It's also where I'm grading papers. I mean, so where does it end? So again, setting those boundaries is really important. And one way, when people say, Dan, what's the first thing you can tell people about how to take care of themselves? I always go back to something I call the 5 S's. And they are stillness, silence, space, subtraction, and slowing down. And I'll just go over
Now,
those
hold on
really
one
quickly.
second for me.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, because I'm taking notes with you while you're going, because I
Oh,
don't
okay.
want my viewers to miss this. Because when
Uh-huh.
you said earlier about boundaries, and you also said about no, I want my viewers to know that no is a complete sentence. And
Absolutely.
boundaries are really important. So could you please take that? We have a few more minutes. Help me with the
Uh-huh.
5 S's again. What were they?
Stillness,
Stillness,
silence,
okay.
mhm, and
Silence,
silence, space,
space.
subtraction,
Mm-hmm,
subtraction, and slowing down,
mm-hmm.
which is something I
Okay,
need to do because I'm so excited to be here. I'm just going a mile a minute.
we got this though. Come on, we can do this
Yeah, we're
together.
fine.
Start with the
Yeah,
first one. What's the first one again? The silence?
stillness. No, stillness is
Stillness. See,
first.
I got it wrong. That's why I
Stillness
gotta take
means
notes so I get it right.
that's fine. Stillness is like in our culture, we never stop, right? It's go, 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 go all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And stillness just means stop doing. And I think people get
Okay.
nervous about that because it looks like they're being lazy or it looks like, they're not doing anything. But we need to recharge. And the way we recharge is by stopping. And maybe it's sitting on your
Okay.
patio at night and listening to the birds, or maybe it's that glass of wine after dinner on the sofa, or maybe it's reading for pleasure in the big recliner. It's
Well, they can
just,
have some rum, right? I've heard that bubble gum rum is pretty good. I've been hearing that a lot lately.
you've been hearing, wow, okay, yeah,
Well,
I don't
I
judge,
guess it's
whatever
the
works,
beverage
man.
of choice, huh?
Perfect. Whatever works.
Okay.
Whatever's going to cause you to
Stillness.
be still. Stillness. And
Got it.
silence, I'm sure in our society, there's always
Mm-hmm.
noise. There's always sound. So it's really kind of rebellious to be silent. But I think it's crucial. I think it's really important and necessary that we take time for silence. It can be when we get up in the morning. It can be before we go to
Mm-hmm.
bed at night. It can be on the weekend when you take a walk or a hike into the mountains or the woods, wherever you
So
can
you mean like
go
really
and
be
just,
quiet? You
I
mean like
mean, total
really be
silence.
quiet?
Yeah, and you know what, Brenda? It
Mm.
freaks people out. Yeah, I can tell it. Yeah, it's
That would freak
scary
me
because
out.
you know what? Yeah, because
You
when
gotta
we're
listen to
silent,
yourself.
you got to listen to yourself. Exactly. You have to face what is. And sometimes that's not so
Mm.
pretty. And we were talking about that earlier in the beginning of the interview.
Yes, we were.
But when
Mm-hmm.
you're silent and you face what is, the nice thing about that is, as scary as it is it really shows you, okay, these are the things I need to work on. And then you can start to take
Okay.
steps to fix those, right? But you don't know what they are, or you're avoiding them with all the noise all the time. But when you're
And that's where
silent,
mindfulness would come in, right? That we can
yes,
Google
absolutely.
on and find out about it. Okay. All right.
Yep, because
What's
then once you're
next?
silent, it's easier to be in the moment. Space, which just, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because it's just decluttering. It just means if
Okay.
you're suffocating with all the clutter and the junk, you can't breathe mentally,
Why
you
are you
can't
telling
breathe
people my
emotionally.
business, Dan? We talked about that in private. You weren't supposed to talk
I
about
know.
that one. Come
I
on
wasn't supposed
now.
to mention
Work
that.
with
I'm
me.
sorry.
Work with me.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
go ahead.
I'm
I'll
trying,
let you
Brenda.
go.
Yeah. Well, it's the reason that's so true, Brenda, is because it's everybody. Everybody has junk.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how
Everybody.
many this multi-million-dollar storage unit business. If you have so much stuff that
Hmm.
you need a storage unit for your stuff, you've got too much stuff. Throw some stuff
Dan, don't
away.
go there. Don't
I
go
know.
there.
Here's a quick strategy. Throw 10
Okay.
things away a day. 10 things. Throw away 10 things a day for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the
7
end of the week,
days.
you've thrown away 70 things. That's a lot of things to get rid of. And when I say throw away, I mean throw away, or I mean
Donate,
donate, yeah,
give
or
away,
sell.
regift,
Give away,
rehome.
regift, all of that, all of that. So that
Yeah. I've been
space,
working on that, Dan.
so have I, and it can be very overwhelming. So you do one little thing at a time. But the next one
Okay,
is
number 4,
subtraction. Is subtraction,
subtraction.
and that means take stuff away. Right? Take stuff away that isn't working for you anymore, that isn't serving you anymore. Like we've all been on that book club for 100 million years that we don't want to be on anymore. We're all on that church committee. And I promise you that if like you quit the church committee, God will understand. It's okay. It's okay to leave that church committee. We feel
How about those
guilty when we
emotional
say,
vampires?
right,
Can we do
exactly.
that?
That's a perfect way. Yeah, I might steal that. That's a great line. The emotional
Yeah,
vampires, that
emotional
stuff that
vampires were
sucks the
sucking the
energy.
life out of me. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So get rid of them. Why not? Just take them off your
Thank
calendar.
you.
Our kitchen calendar. I'm looking right over at the refrigerator. It's on there. Almost every space is filled all the time, and I get so anxious because I got to be here. I got to be there. It's 5 o'clock. I got to do this. But what if you took something off and there was just some space on that calendar, and you subtracted the thing that's not serving you anymore? The great thing about that, Brenda, is you can fill it with something that fulfills you, maybe a hobby or
Mm-hmm.
some kind of
Mm-hmm.
activity that you love. Or my favorite thing, and the magic thing, is you can fill it with nothing at all and just let life unfold how it's going to unfold that night. And that's magic.
Part of that silence thing. Mm.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep. And
what's
then
number
number
5? Bring
5
it home for me. Bring it home.
is slowing down. Slowing down. We move too fast. Okay. And naturally, like you were already understanding, there's a lot of overlap between these 5. And when you slow down, it's easier to be still. It's easier to be silent, right? It's easier to look at my
Mm-hmm.
life and say, what do I need to get rid of? Listening to your intuition, that inner voice. But just if there's one, and it's not always possible, but if there's a time in your day when you can say, okay, I want to slow down here, and this one task, I don't want to be like, oh, I have to be someplace, but I just want to let this one task take as long as it takes. How magical is that? Like if I'm doing the laundry, sometimes I will clear my calendar and just do the laundry and be mindful about how I'm doing the laundry, which is the most mundane task in the world. But I can smell the warm towels out of the dryer and feel
Mm-hmm.
the cotton or the terry cloth. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just so
nice.
wonderful.
That's nice.
Yeah, to tune into your senses. So whatever activity you're doing, what if you just gave it the time? See, you're already relaxed. I can tell just from
Mm-hmm.
thinking about
Mm-hmm.
it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just slow
that felt
down
good.
and take your time. Yeah. And everybody talks about multitasking. Huge illusion.
Mm-hmm.
No such thing. Multitasking, research says multitasking does not work. Single task, because you know what? When you single task and you focus on one thing, you don't have to worry about redoing it or fixing
Mm-hmm.
your mistakes because you focused on it. You took the time to slow down and do it right the first time.
Okay, so I want to make sure I got this right. I want to practice for those 5 S's: stillness, silence, space, subtraction, and slowing down. So I'm going to
Perfect. If I was
take
giving you
my
a quiz, you
time.
would have got 100%.
Thank you. But since we're going to do a quiz here, here's a quiz for you.
Uh-oh.
Please tell me about your course.
Oh, the course.
I
Okay.
want to know how do people find your Zen course. I want to find some peace here. So I know you have a course because
Yeah.
I went and looked at it and it's pretty good. So tell me about that.
Oh, thank you, Brenda. The course I have is called Instant Zen, Reclaiming Your Focus, Energy, and Peace. 5 simple steps. Now, guess what those 5 simple steps are? The 5 S's.
Let me see.
And okay, I think you know this.
Silence, space, subtraction, and slowing down. Okay.
You got it. Perfect. Yeah.
How did they
And
find that
can be
course?
found. They find it at zenprocourses.com, ZENPRO courses.com. And it's called Instant Zen. There's a couple different courses, but that's the new one. And I think it's the best. I like it. I was really proud about how it turned out. And I hope people will check it out.
Because I don't want them to miss it, could you repeat that one more time? And if you have a website, give them your website address as well, Dan.
Okay, my website is thezenteacher.com, and there's a
Easy.
link on there to the courses. Yeah, but the courses
Okay.
is zenprocourses.com.
Okay. Now, do you have any new projects coming up, Dan? I've been
I'm
looking.
working
I saw
on.
some stuff happening.
You did see some stuff.
I did
Well,
some
I have
research,
another
just a
book.
little bit.
I
Hmm.
know you're very prepared, Brenda. That's awesome.
Thank
I
you.
have the Zen Teacher book, and then I have another book called
Hmm.
Sanctuaries. And right now I'm working on my third book, which is actually, since I've been an English teacher for 30 years, it's actually a writing book on writing methods,
Hmm.
how to teach students to write, but through the lens of mindfulness. So
Okay.
it's gonna show teachers how to teach students to write more clearly and precisely, but through the lens of mindfulness. But it's still in the works.
Okay. I do creative writing with the boys and girls at the Boys and Girls Club here in Wayne County. So that's
Awesome.
something that kids would
Yeah.
be geared, that even maybe middle school kids could do this course. Or is this
Oh,
just for adults?
yeah. This would be about it's for the teachers, but I think you could use the
Oh, it's for the
concepts with anybody.
teachers.
Yeah, right. But we can
So,
talk later because
okay. No,
just
we're
because
fine.
students get very anxious. Yeah,
Because I was thinking
students
when you
get
said that, during this pandemic, one of the things I did with my kids was to get them to write their feelings. And if there was some
right.
place that the kids could go through where it helped them also learn, I think that would be something very beneficial. Now, I know your courses are geared toward teachers, and teachers do an amazing job and have done amazing, especially during this current situation where they've had to pivot constantly
Mhm.
to make things happen. But I wanted to make sure, if you had one message for
Mhm.
teachers and then one message for moms that have to be teachers temporarily in our current situation, what would that
Mhm.
message be? You can combine it or give them to me separate. What you got?
Well, I remember when our wonderful yearbook advisor sent out a question, and it said, "If you could tell your students one thing, what would it be?" And I here's what I said: is to tell the students, and this goes for moms, it goes for you, Brenda, it goes for anybody listening, that if
Mm-hmm.
you knew one thing, I want you to know that you are okay exactly how you are.
I love that. Dan, I cannot tell you how much I thank you for being here as my
Thank
very
you.
first guest here at the editor's desk. I hope you had as much as fun as I did, and
I
I
had a
look
blast.
forward to your new project. I look forward to the what do you call that? The website adventure that I'm going to go on after this. But thank you again, Dan, and take care.
Thank you. You too.
Well, everyone, I'm excited to say I had a great time with my guest, Mr. Dan Tricargo. I hope that you were as informed as I have been going forward. Over the next 4 episodes, I hope that you will find time to come and visit me to find out what it is I do on the other side of this, which is I do Facebook posts, I do personal coaching, I help other people promote their businesses, and I'm just excited to be here at the editor's desk. There is so much that we can get accomplished through this medium, and I hope that each and every one of you will take the time to use some of the things that you heard today. When Dan talked about stillness, let me tell you, that is something I truly need to work on because I'm often go, 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 going. When he talked about the silence, let me see. Excuse me, I'm a talker. So silence, I'm not real big on that one, but I will work on it. The space. Well, I've been decluttering my house for some time because unfortunately, when my mother passed, I inherited all of her stuff. And there were a few years that I lived absolutely like a hoarder. Yes, I said like a hoarder. You couldn't even see my floors. I kept all the stuff because sentimentally, I couldn't let go of one thing. He's talking about give away 10 things a day. Honey, I could give away about 30 things a day right now, and I'd still have stuff till next year. But I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, and y'all will get to see that over the next few weeks or so. When he talks about the subtractions, yes, we're going to have to subtract some of them emotional vampires out of our lives. You know those people sucking the life out of you financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. Let them go. Got to get rid of them. And he talked about slowing down. Come on, y'all. Take a deep breath with me. We're going to slow down right now. Come on. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Hey, felt good to me. How about for you? In any event, we got a lot going on here now and then. And I'm hoping that you would join me here at the editor's desk as we begin to explore new topics. Next week, I'm having the amazing Miss Lisa Deschamps. She is the founder of the New England's Veterans Chamber of Commerce. If you are a veteran, you definitely need to tune in next week because Lisa has taken the time to compile all the resources that you'll ever need to run your own business, to look for the proper jobs. I'm telling you what, this lady is a one-woman dynamo. She is there for the veterans. We also have the basket brigade that we're doing. And I'm going to be sponsoring that with Lisa. I think it's an amazing thing. What it is, the basket brigade, you go into I want to say it right, to the New England Veterans Chamber of Commerce website, and you will fill out the form and you can put an inspiring message for a veteran so that on New Year's Day 2021 we can give a veteran a basket. And I think that's amazing. We'll have more information for you on that next week with website and all the information so you can find yourself participating in that venture. And then finally, we have some other interesting guests playing for you, but I'm going to save that for later because, it's like a first date. You don't want to tell them everything. You just want to give them a little bit, enough to come back, be interested. Maybe you come back and get a second date with me. What do you think? Well, you guys, I've been so excited and so happy to be here with you today. And in case you forgot, I am Brenda Warren. I am the solutionist. I help the voiceless find their voices. I'm going to empower you to show up and power up so that you can live a well-balanced life. I want you to check in with me every Friday at 2:30 and see what's going on so we can have a conversation. I think you'll enjoy it. What do you think? Thanks, Dawn and Freddie. It's been a great day here at the editor's desk, and I am so excited about it. I did it, you guys. I made my first day on the editor's desk. What do you think so far? Dawn and Freddie, you out there?
The Editor's Desk is your number one place to motivate yourself, express yourself, and amplify your impact. Our amazing hosts and guests share their stories to help you get where you want to be and where you need to be. And now, on to the show.